Hi, everyone. I'm Elaine Petrucci, and I'm here to talk about burnout today. This is our second masterclass, and I would welcome any input and any questions that you may have in the chat. I want to thank you for being here. I know that burnout, at least in my own life when I was caregiving, was really affecting my interactions with other people and with my clients. And I would like to offer you some suggestions, some definitions, some way of understanding the physical and emotional symptoms of burnout, and then offer you some suggestions to make and change the burnout in your caregiving experience. So if you would bear with me for a moment, I will start our presentation. So welcome everyone to Coping with and Avoiding Caregiver Burnout. Let me start with a definition of burnout. Caregiver burnout is a state of physical, emotional, and mental exhaustion. Stressed caregivers may experience fatigue, anxiety, and depression. Burnout is different than feeling stressed about caregiving responsibility or grieving while you're caregiving, because it's often accompanied by a feeling of numbness. And I'd like to share a quote with you by Laurel Witten, who explains this feeling of numbness as a caregiver. Laurel says, it becomes an absence of emotion, a feeling of being beaten down by circumstances so thoroughly or so often that you aren't able to get back up. And it can feel like being disconnected from your life, which really is the ultimate signs and symptoms of burnout that really are very concerning for anyone that is caring for someone else, because you don't want to feel disconnected from your life while you're caring for someone else. So let me just give you some statistics of burnout. And according to the National Alliance for Caregiving and the AARP Public Policy Institute survey, they said that 40% of caregivers felt emotionally stressed. And almost 20% said it caused financial problems. And 20% felt physically strained. And this really brought about some huge emotional and physical and mental issues for someone when caregiving, because it really was taking a toll on the person providing care to someone else when they have nothing more to give. So let me just talk about the 6 causes of burnout. And before I do that, I'd like to go back for just a moment. So let's talk about the 6 causes of caregiver burnout. The first is that their emotional demands resulting from the care of the receiver's condition. So an extreme degree of physical and emotional care is needed because you feel and you know that there's no way possible to make him or her feel well. And this is something I can relate to because my mother had Alzheimer's, and no matter how or I would like to have had my mother not to have Alzheimer's, I couldn't make her well. And that was causing a lot of emotional stress for me. The second cause is their conflicting demands. The care receiver has their own needs. You're also looking at your spouse's needs, your children's needs, your colleagues' needs, and your employer's needs. And you're trying to juggle all of those demands simultaneously, and it can be quite the challenge. I know for me, when I was providing care for my parents, I would have to go to work not knowing if I would ever get a call saying one or both of them were seriously injured or killed. So as you can see, it really provided a lot more stress when I was working and trying to juggle the needs of my parents. The third cause of burnout is really the ambiguity of roles. Sometimes caregivers don't know exactly what their role should be in relation to others around them, and especially for their parent or grandparent when you're not certain about what they would prefer, the type of care that they would prefer. The fourth cause of burnout is that it's the workload. There is so much to do because you're juggling so many things. You're juggling work, your family, and your parent, as well as other interactions that you have. So workload is really very demanding. The fifth cause of burnout is conflicting policies and procedures. You know, you're talking to different professionals, other family members, and everybody has a way of thinking about a specific caregiving situation and what may or may not be appropriate. So you're getting all of this input all at once, and you're trying to decide for yourself and your loved one what the best way or approach to work with your loved one. And it can add a lot of pressure and undue stress in addition to all of the other responsibilities that you're carrying. The sixth reason for burnout is really there's a lack of privacy. A caregiver in this situation feels like there is no time to be alone. You feel like other people are watching you and feeling like you should be doing something for your loved one all the time. And this, again, impedes your self-care so that you could be more effective in your caregiving journey. So now let's look at the signs that you may have burnout. They include you withdraw from family, friends, and other loved ones. You lose interest in other activities that you enjoyed doing before you started caregiving. You have less energy than you had before you started caregiving because you're juggling so many demands and responsibilities at the same time. You start feeling blue, you feel irritable, depressed, hopeless, and helpless. And then there could be changes in appetite, weight, or both. You may also notice changes in your sleep patterns. You feel like your life is totally out of control. You're increasingly impatient and irritable with the person that you're caring for because you haven't taken time to do self-care for yourself before you started caregiving for the person that you love. You may have feelings of wanting to hurt yourself or the person for whom you're caring because the stress is way more than you can carry. And it seems like you catch every cold or flu that seems to be going around. You're constantly exhausted even after you go to sleep, take a nap, or take a break. You start neglecting your needs because you're too busy and you don't really care anymore. So you don't make your annual doctor visits. You don't make your regular dental visits. You feel like it's just too much more responsibility that you really can't handle. And you feel like you don't have the time, you don't make the time to do things to make yourself feel well so you can care for someone else. Again, your life revolves around caregiving, but it gives you little satisfaction. And you have trouble relaxing even when help is available because you're all kind of wired, you're tense. You want to make sure that everything is being handled correctly and appropriately for the person that you're caring for. So let's look more specifically about some physical symptoms of caregiver burnout. So you may start experiencing body aches and pains, fatigue. You may have frequent headaches, increased or decreased appetite. There are changes in your weight. You have insomnia, and you have a weakened immune system that leads to frequent infections. So now let's look at some of the emotional symptoms of caregiver burnout. You start feeling very anxious. You become angry and argumentative. You become really irritated easily and often because you have stretched yourself so much. You don't have any more capacity to look at situations more reflectively. You start worrying, you feel depressed, you feel hopeless. You also begin to feel very impatient with everyone around you, and you start taking some even minor things that happen during the day, and you take it out on the people around you, and especially the one that you're caring for. You're not able to concentrate. You, again, isolate yourself emotionally and physically, and you lack interest in doing anything that you enjoy before you start caregiving. And you just lack the motivation to do more because you're at the point where you can't give more. So let's look at some of the really big dangers of caregiver burnout. As burnout progresses and depression and anxiety increase, a caregiver may use alcohols or drugs or other stimulants to try to relieve the symptoms that they're feeling. This can then lead to impairment, which increases the risk of harm to both the person receiving care and the person who is providing care. Because research has shown that caregivers that use both prescription drugs and illegal substances are more likely to abuse those than non-caregivers. And thirdly, it can become a very dangerous situation because a caregiver should stop providing care until they're no longer on the influence of drugs or alcohol, because again, that could result in the loss of life or severe injury, not only to the person that you're caring for, but the caregiver themselves. Now that we looked at the definition and some of the signs of burnout and the physical and emotional toll that it takes when you're caregiving, let's now turn to 6 ways to cope with and avoid caregiver burnout. You can avoid caregiver burnout by feeling really empowered, and you can do that by knowing that you've accepted this situation of caregiving, that you aren't helpless to make any changes in the care that you're providing, and you can always make a choice. So you want to practice acceptance. You want to know that you've made that choice to provide care for your loved one. And it's better to accept the situation than dwell on feeling sorry for yourself or searching for someone or something to blame. You want to really start embracing your caregiving choice. You've done that because your values and your beliefs have given you a positive reason to make that choice to care for your loved one. So embrace the choice that you have given. Also look for the silver lining. So you can build those bonds with the person you're caring for, because now you have that responsibility, or taken on that responsibility of taking care of that person. And that has made you stronger and has brought you closer to the person that you're caring for. Don't let caregiving take over your life. You can also look at it as accepting a difficult situation is easier than when you have other areas of your life that are rewarding. You don't want caregiving to take over your entire life, and you want to still maintain interaction with people or in the activities that you enjoy doing before you started caregiving, so that can give you purpose and meaning. Focus on the things that you can control. You want to really look at being more present. You want to focus on the way that you react to the person that you're caring for and how you're dealing with the problems that arise every day when you're caregiving. You also want to celebrate the small victories. You don't really have to cure the person that you're caring for. You just need to make that person feel more safe, comfortable, and loved. And that's the best that you can give anyone in a caregiving situation. You will also want to look at getting the appreciation that you need. You can enjoy life more when you are being appreciated for stepping up and making that choice and that decision to help care for your loved one. Studies have shown that caregivers who feel appreciated experience greater physical and mental health. And sometimes caregiving can make someone happier and healthier despite all of the demands required of a caregiver. And you need to determine what appreciation that you need when a when your loved one is unable to show appreciation for all that you do. So, for example, my mother had Alzheimer's and she was not able to communicate toward the end of her life. And just seeing her expressions and bodily movements really made me understand that she was telling me exactly how she felt and how she appreciated what was going on in a situation when we were together. So I invite you to think about or imagine how your loved one would respond to you and how you're caregiving for them if they were healthy. Let's think about it this way. Your loved one didn't want to be in the situation that they're in, and being able to help them show their appreciation for what you're doing is really vitally important. I also want you to applaud your efforts. You may not be getting any external validation, but find ways to reward yourself. Make a list of all the ways your caregiving is making a difference to the one you're caring for, and refer to that list on an ongoing basis so that you can see that what you're doing is really making a difference in your loved one's life. You also want to talk to a supportive family member or a friend, because they will listen to you and acknowledge your efforts and just let you know that you're doing the best that you can in a really tough situation. Also, ask for help. There is no shame in asking for help and looking into respite care so that you can take that mental, physical, and emotional break from taking care of your loved one so that you can recharge and become more present when you start caring for your loved one again. I want you to speak up. If you're needing some support, ask for help specifically, and people will be more than willing to help you. They're just looking for you to let them know what you need and when you need it. And spread the responsibility. Get other family members, friends, neighbors involved in providing care to your loved one, even for a short time, so that you can do some self-care for yourself. You want to also set up a regular check-in. Then you can let family members, church members, friends know about how the caregiving is going and what needs that you may have at any particular time. And always, I can't stress this enough, say yes when someone offers help. They're asking you for help, what help that you need, because they on some level understand that you need some support, and they are willing to step up to help you again when you're really specific with what you want and when you want it. And be willing to relinquish some control. You want to make sure that you want to keep everything in control for your loved one. However, you also need to also take some other advice as to how caregiving might be rendered, that would make it easier for you and your loved one. Again, give yourself a break. And doing things that you really enjoy doing can be a luxury, but schedule it in during the work week. Give yourself permission to rest and do the things that you enjoyed on a daily basis. It will make you more energetic and focused, and you will be able to be more present with the one that you're caring for, and you'll be able to handle any minor or major emergency that may occur during the day. You want to maintain your personal relationships. Make sure that your friendships and other acquaintances or colleagues are scheduled into your calendar every week so that you maintain those relationships. Share your feelings, express how you're feeling at a particular time when maybe caregiving is a bit challenging, and at least by sharing your feelings, you can get the support that you need from those family, friends, and neighbors. Prioritize activities that bring you enjoyment, whether it's gardening, reading a book, taking a walk with or without the one that you're caring for. Do the things that you enjoy doing, and again, schedule everything into a calendar, a weekly, monthly calendar, so that you are taking care of not only your loved one, but you're taking care of yourself first so that you can provide the best care. Find ways to pamper yourself. It may be knitting, watching a game, doing puzzles, whatever brings you enjoyment. And make yourself laugh. It will relieve a lot of that tension, stress, and overwhelm that you are experiencing as a caregiver. Again, get out of the house. Have someone take over the caregiving responsibilities for you, or if you have the luxury of allowing your loved one to go to adult daycare center, get out of the house, do something that you want to do. So again, you become more present with the person that you're caring for. Fifth, take care of your own health. Again, schedule medical and dental and any other medical related appointments for your own health. You want to keep on top of your doctor visits and go for your annual physicals. And don't skip any checkups that you need in between, because it's really critical that you take care of your health first before you can give everything that you do give when you're caregiving. Exercise, again, you can do walking with your loved one. You can, or for me, my mother and I would exercise by walking, or I would exercise by pushing her wheelchair around different, like the mall or around the Botanic Gardens, for example. You want to practice some kind of relaxation technique. You want to take a couple minutes in the morning or during a stressful situation during your work day to relieve some of that tension so that you can be more fully present. And you want to eat well. You want to make sure that you're preparing healthy meals and that you attempt to avoid, frozen foods or things that may not be so healthy for you. And don't skip on sleep. Sleep is so important, and it's really critical that you take care of yourself and sleep restfully so that you can be more alert and present with your loved one. And 6, and I find this really extremely important, in addition to the other 5 tips, is to join a caregiver support group. I know here for the Caregiver Lifeline community, we do have the Facebook group. We also have a caregiver support group where you can join for a monthly or yearly fee so that you can get the support that you need from other caregivers, from experts that I've had on different conferences, and myself. You get resources that you need so that you can make your caregiving journey more rewarding and less stressful, and so that you can avoid the burnout that you sometimes find yourself in when you're not taking good care of yourself, or finding a support group that can give you the emotional and physical and mental support that you need during your caregiving journey. So let's now just diagnose some burnout. Burnout can be diagnosed by your doctor or mental health provider. They can also provide you with assessments to determine whether or not you have burnout. And when your doctor or healthcare provider make that diagnosis, they'll talk to you about some different strategies about how you can take care of yourself and whether or not you're taking enough breaks from the stress of caregiving. And they may also give you some questionnaires for depression or stress. And you should make sure that if you're feeling any of the physical, emotional signs of burnout, that you get the medical care that you need so that it doesn't become life-threatening for you or the person that you're caring for. I again would like to offer you some support and resources for burnout, and where you can turn in addition to that support group I had mentioned earlier. You have like the Alzheimer's Association, the American Cancer Society, the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services. There are the U.S. Department of Labor Disability Resources. There's the National Institute of Mental Health, the National Resource Directory that provides you information for service members and veterans. You can also speak to someone at the Social Security Administration or the National Institutes of Health. Other support organizations are the Caregiver Action Network that lists websites related to specific diseases that your loved one may be exhibiting. You also have the Family Caregiver Alliance, and it has a lot of links for caregiver needs and concerns. You also have the Family Caregiver Toolbox from the Caregiver Action Network that provides, again, additional tips and resources for you to prevent burnout and to help you take care of your loved one in the best way possible. Again, it's my mission to advocate for you as a caregiver, being a former caregiver myself, and I want you to break the chains of burnout, because that's the only way you can become the best person that you can be so that you can support your loved one while you're caregiving. I want you to think about what you would do differently if you were to experience less stress, be more present with your loved one, could stay more centered and not let minor and major distractions or emergencies deter you from your caregiving best, and that you could feel more confident and could create ease and joy while you're caregiving. I'd like to invite everyone here on the call today for this masterclass. I would like you to learn to manage your mind through self-hypnosis so that you can manage any outcome in any situation that you find yourself in as a caregiver. So I'm offering my self-hypnosis masterclass this Friday from 8 to 4. And hypnosis will give you the 10 times more focus on your intentions and 50,000 times more accountability to achieve your intentions while you're caregiving. It's a great class. I enjoy doing it for caregivers and healthcare providers because it gives you a specific way to help you do self-hypnosis during your caregiving during the day. So for February, it's free. It's normally $4.97, and I'm offering you to sign up for this class on Friday. And we are going to provide the Zoom link for you to start becoming more, so you can become registered for the self-hypnosis class on Friday. So I want you to break the chains, and I want you to be more, do more, and live more while you're caregiving. So I would like to also offer you some ways to connect with me. You can connect with me through the Caregiver Lifeline Academy. I'm also offering an individualized clarity assessment, or you can contact me through my email, which is mpetrucci2002@gmail.com. I want to thank all of you for being here today. I would like to invite everyone to the free self-hypnosis masterclass this Friday from 8 to 4 Mountain Standard Time. There will be a Zoom link provided for you in the area where in the event section of the membership site. So thank you very much for being here. I have enjoyed talking with you about burnout, giving you some recommendations and resources, and a free masterclass, self-hypnosis masterclass to help you with your burnout that you may be experiencing with your loved one and your caregiving journey. So thank you so much for being here today. And I look forward to seeing you next week, where we will be talking about lack of support while you're caregiving. Thank you again.